Hi, Toll and Roll community. This is Billy Powers, co-founder with John Bloom. Today we have a show, an interview for you, not a show, with Emily Hodgson. Emily is behind the scenes of Toll and Roll, victim, advocate, whistleblower. There's many moms, dads behind the scenes, the people behind Toll and Roll. And I asked Emily this morning if she would do this interview with me because I'm a mom. And it's going to be a little sad to start here, so bear with the tears you're going to see because they're warranted. 2 days ago, Emily's daughter was hit by a car and killed. We didn't call it passing. We don't call she moved on. No, she was killed. But the story that brought Emily to Toll and Roll killed justice a long time ago. So, Emily, today I'm going to give you a platform to explain to the people how you as a mom, and I'm so sorry about your daughter. What's your daughter's name?
Grace.
Grace. I'm so sorry about Grace. But today's about you telling us who you are, how you got to where you are, some of the things you've gone through. And of course, today there's nothing you could have gone through any worse than losing Grace. But our country lost Grace. Our country let Grace down. Our country, the system, let you, her mama, down. But we've also heard this morning, you and I talked about how surprised we both are that CPS in your area actually seemed to care. So I'm going to turn this over to you now. I want you to tell the story of Emily and Grace, not the whole story, how it started, even about your MAGA platform that got
Yeah.
ripped down. Tell me and tell us, tell our community how Emily is part of Toll and Roll.
So in 2019, I was MAGA Girl 34, then on Twitter. Then I became MAGA Girl 34, also on Twitter. And because we kept getting blocked out, I had to redo my account 30 times a day. And shortly after that, my son, who's an EC student, started having
Explain what EC student is.
exceptional. He's special needs.
There
So
you go.
yeah, he has special needs. And through the school system, all of a sudden we started having developing problems where there was a studio recording equipment that was placed on one of his devices. And I found Durham courts was actually paying for my son to have speech therapy classes that he was not receiving through the same program that was used and found. And he was not getting speech therapy. It was for eavesdropping. We found the same software on my phone, along with something called an Open VMS debugger and jam monitor. And Lord and behold, it showed right there in the court system. You had to have an LCSW license to
Which
be able to
is,
see. I don't even know what it stands
but
for.
it's
It's
a
a
license to be able to observe, a license. So you have to have permission
right.
somewhere to do this surveillance, basically.
No, well, you had to even find in the system they were doing this. You had to have a social worker's
Oh, to
license
even find out that this
to
was being
even
done.
find out. I
So
had
you,
no
as the
idea.
mom, had no idea this was going on. Your son had no idea this was going on.
No idea.
So surveillance equipment, again, for those listening, remember, Toll and Roll's foundation and mission is also to close the back doors on these software systems that are
Right.
interacting. So go ahead,
Sorry.
Emily.
Sorry, my phone's going to die, so I'm going to charge it while I do this.
Okay.
Um, so then that's when we started being gang stalked. And when I say gang stalked, I mean with different places I would go, people would try to pull me in their vehicle. We were getting death threats. We were being followed. In fact, 3 days before my mom was murdered, we had a death threat, and the police never came in Durham. And I sent my son to my mom's house to be safe. And excuse me, it was 2 days. The next night he was acting up. She brings him home and goes home and was murdered. And
Now, when you say she was murdered, just to clarify quickly, there was evidence. There
so
was.
there were 3 different autopsies. One of them was pending. One of them's accidental, but they said it was a heart condition. The person who I believe is behind it, who is a huge real estate developer, commercial developer, who became executor. I'm finding, according to the time, an hour or 2 hours before she passed away.
Did she know this person
And so
previously?
she did. It was my brother-in-law who had disowned her. They had
Oh,
no
okay.
relationship.
Well, now
And
let's not make this too long. So now your mom
okay,
is what you believe was murdered. Now there was never an investigation that determined that,
there
but
was
there was
not.
three separate autopsies with
There
three different findings.
Homicide was never called. And I talked to the investigator at the time. He did not know about my mom's situation at all because homicide was bypassed. They said it was a heart condition. Ends up it was blunt force trauma, head, neck, and torso.
Okay.
And so since then we've had to move 12 times in 5 years. We have had to live in a safe house for one.
Okay, now people listening are going to say, okay, why are you having to hide? Why is this all because of what you found, the surveillance, and outed it?
No, well, that's part of it, but there was also 2 different places we lived. The ground was removed on our locked meter base. And so Pike Electrical is an electric company that works with Duke Energy. They came when Duke couldn't. 10 days before my mom actually died was the first time on 9/11 out of all days. And that was when they found the ground was removed, and me and my son had to ground ourselves outside because I used a phone. You can see electricity through a phone. You can't to the naked eye.
Now, do you
And
have a place where any of this information is for the public to view?
no, because the problem has been well, I've tried, but all of my devices, everything is taken over immediately. And sometimes and I think that's because the Open VMS debugger, like it'll say my administration does not allow me to have these permissions.
Okay. Now let's stop again because
Sorry.
anyone listening to this, you and I just had this conversation. They're going to go, this sounds crazy. Okay. So, first of all, you have a son who's autistic on
Hmm.
the spectrum, special needs. You find out at school he's being monitored. You bring
Yep.
this to the attention and you find out that this monitoring, you have to even have certification to even find it. So,
Yeah.
you found it because of court.
No, I found it because I was trying to get help for a social worker, and he randomly, accidentally disclosed it. And the other thing is it was supposed to be only for the remote care of kids, the remote teaching, learning. And because of our situation with the technical stuff, we could not do remote. So, in fact, my son missed a whole year of schooling. And I even sent an email to the superintendent, the principal, and the EC facilitators talking about that because the H1 law, any child with the active IEP cannot be turned away. And so I still sent him to school, and immediately I had a social worker banging on my door saying they were trying to IVC my son. And they did.
I'm in the middle of a meeting. I'll text you.
Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
And
Go ahead,
I still
Emily.
got to quit. My phone's about to die. Sorry.
Yeah, plug her
Um,
in. Plug her in.
but that is the one of the obstacles that we have been facing.
Okay,
Um,
so this is very there's a lot to this story, folks. And I'm going to encourage Emily to do a page, just a page of a timeline for us so that I can put it into the link so you guys can see a timeline and make more sense of this. But this is from everything Emily and I've talked about over the last few months, actually, at different times. Another situation where a mom or a parent, this isn't just a mom, this happens to fathers too, have been put in a position where they're starting to feel crazy because there's so much going
Mm-hmm.
on around them that makes no sense. And what's interesting
Right.
is my Zoom right now is having a life of its own as well, Emily. So that's that's
Sorry.
interesting. Um, so okay, you should be plugged in now.
Yes, I am plugged in now, and I
Okay, so
apologize.
let's go. That's okay. Now talk about your daughter. I know
My
it's hard.
daughter, yeah, my daughter was taken. My custody was taken by a attorney named Lisa Ducalo, who is now in a mental institution in Georgia because she was convicted of doing all these things. And you can still look it up. She is still there because she was able to bypass a conviction from because now she's in quotes mentally unstable after she was convicted of doing a bunch of unlawful proceedings in Durham.
Okay, so the unlawful proceedings, I
Mm-hmm.
would have to assume, tell me if I'm wrong, had counterfeit, forged, and perjured documents involved.
Oh, yes, they did. Very much
They
so.
did.
And things that never went in front of judges.
So how
And
did she end up over your daughter? What brought your daughter in front of her?
so I was in a very abusive relationship, um, where, very abusive relationship, where I went, I actually did a protection order. Um, they granted the protection order, they never served it. And so
They
my
being the
dog,
court, did you have someone to serve it and it never, well, because obviously it wasn't your responsibility. They had to serve it,
they've
correct?
changed documents since. I've found in the system, and it's amazing because what I see in Durham system on the Odyssey, like you can see when because I've that's what I've been doing. I've been going to the clerk of courts and actually doing the file numbers, which there's information that I've never seen before.
That's your
There was
shadow dockets and shadow
um,
cases. So let's go back. Let's
yeah,
finish with your daughter. So you were in an abusive relationship. You got the temporary restraining order. It never was served, but yet it was still valid.
and my mom, who we became very close later on, she took custody of my daughter without me signing anything, without anything.
Now, how
It
did
was
she do that? Was this attorney helpful to her to do that?
yes.
Okay, how
Now,
did she
even though
know
I
this
didn't,
attorney? How did she know this attorney?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I
Okay, so
never.
this attorney that we know now is in the loony bin um,
Yeah.
was the one who took custody basically of your daughter.
Hmm.
Okay, through counterfeit, forged, and perjured documents. What year
Hmm.
was that?
That was 2010. But the crazy thing is, in 2012, I terminated the father's rights of my daughter because we had a great relationship. But now, all of a sudden, in their system, it shows that in 2010, my rights were terminated. Well,
Okay, so be clear, the father that you had a good relationship was not the father of this child, correct?
the wait, say that again.
The
Sorry.
one you had
Say,
the relationship in where you had the TRO against a man was not the man who's the father of this
yes.
child.
Oh, no, that was not. That was not
Okay,
the
so I
father
want
of the
because
child.
people listening are getting probably a little confused because this is how these stories go. So I'm
Sorry.
just kind of herding your cats here. So we've got a daughter who in
Okay, thank you.
2010. Okay, so what year was the TRO?
So that happened in 2012.
Okay, so in 2010 we had an occurrence. In
2012.
2012, when you had a good relationship with your daughter's father, he terminated his um, parentage or his custody, correct?
Right.
Okay. And that
Yes,
meant it
I
was
terminated his
probably,
rights,
since you
and
terminated his rights, that probably also created an avenue of which he was no longer paying any child support or anything.
he never paid child support.
Okay.
It was
Okay,
just,
so for those listening, this is usually one of the patterns of a dad who doesn't want to pay, and for the mom to finally feel like, okay, we got closure here. You don't have to pay me a dime, just go away, and
right.
I'm raising our daughter. Okay, go ahead.
Right. But after my mom died, and on September 21st, 2020, all in there with CPS, where I'm talking to them, and I said, or they said, so it looks like your rights were terminated in 2010. And in fact, this conversation happened with the lady who is my mom's friend, who's in charge of all telecommunications at Duke. At Duke, her name is Shelly Epps. She was my mom's friend. She was in charge of all telecommunications. Well, I had just showed CPS that my rights were never terminated in 2010 because I showed them the paperwork, the matter of finding by the judge, and my attorney's records of me terminating the father's rights 2012. And Shelly Epps doesn't know that she was on speakerphone and said, well, Emily's rights were terminated in 2010. Well, they never had paper, but all of a sudden, the papers, there was the main
Was a
paper.
document allowing them to do this, but what you just said, common sense would tell anyone listening. Emily could not have lawfully in the courts released the
Right.
father, and she would have had no standing to do that if she didn't have custody. So,
And how did this lady know about a court appearance that I proved never happened, unless
right.
she's the one that added it in?
Could be. Good
So
question. Good question. So, okay, so now we've had, how old is your daughter now? Was your daughter when she got hit?
she was 21.
21. So, so you've seen her then. Have you seen her in the last few years? You had a relationship with her?
Yeah. She when my mom passed away, I wanted her because we were being gang stalked, and she lived with my mom, which I'm not. I'm not proud of all my past. There's a lot of decisions I should have made, but I have faced those, and I have worked hard to be that person. And I am proud of myself for that. And a lot of people might say otherwise, but
No, you know what? Your
while
key word there was past. Okay.
yeah,
Everyone makes mistakes. People like to categorize mistakes, though, so it makes theirs seem less than what they've done. No
right,
mistake cannot be undone, or mistakes aren't criminal. Mistakes
right,
happen.
yeah.
So think about that. Anyone listening? Okay, now we're going to. So, Emily, another question people have is, well, why are they gang stalking you? Well, who are they, and why are they gang stalking you?
So I had mountain land off the Blue Ridge Parkway, um, and that land has now been redacted. The top right corner, I have these pictures that I've posted several times of just there are actually Kodak pictures because I had to take a camera to take pictures of these documents because my phone was hacked. So I was literally taking pictures and developing these pictures so pictures would not disappear of my mountain land, where the top right corner they're hiding the page and the book number. Well, I thought the reason for redacting documents was for withholding someone's privacy, not hiding the location of other documents. And so the map was taken by my brother-in-law, who's a real estate now sold off. They so my mom's house, my my home was in, my trust
Okay, slow
taken.
down because you're cutting out. You're starting to cut out pretty good. Are you walking around?
No.
Okay, let's find a
Um,
place. Let's try and slow down because you're
we
cutting
can
in and
go
out really
outside.
bad. Yeah,
Sorry,
probably.
let's go
However,
back.
okay. However you can do it so you don't cut in and out, because what I'm hearing here and what I want comprehension of is we have child issues. We have a bar card
Mm-hmm.
carrier who was friends with the grandmother. We have documents that appear to have been created through counterfeit, forged, or perjured testimony. We have land. Now, Emily, was this land you had ownership as well of?
So I
Answer
believe,
when I ask a question, yes or no. Did you have ownership of this land as well?
yes,
Okay. You had partial ownership. Was this ownership with your mother and your other family members, or just you, just your mom?
it was with my mom. And then, so it was solely mine. Then we were going to sell it to help for my daughter's education, which we ended up, didn't need another year of a very expensive school. So we brought her. So anyway, so the land itself, I couldn't find any documentation, anything about who owns what. I couldn't find deeds. I couldn't find anything when she passed away. So I even did an intent to purchase
Okay,
as
so
a.
stop. You said you owned the property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
just you.
Just no, that was previously. Then it was me and my mom.
Okay, and you added your mom onto the property. Why?
We added each other on because so that way, if it needed to be sold or if we had any disagreements of where the money
You'd
had to go
split it.
to.
You'd split
Yeah.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
so it was an arrangement so that financially there was no arguing.
Right.
So are you telling me that the brother-in-law, then the attorney, came in and did something to paperwork to take away your ownership of that property?
Not only did they do some things to paperwork in the
Okay.
court when they took my home, they didn't even use the correct system. They were online. And I remember the top of the which website. And I said, in court in front of Archie Smith, where he took my house, I said, now the website you're going to, does it say Durham County Register of Deeds, or does it say rodweb.co? And they said rodweb.co. I said, well, that's not even your correct documents. And that is when, like, on this page, the original deed, which was called a kitty condo contract. And I remember that because I was 20. And when I got the place, I lived there for 19 years. And I was offended because I didn't think I was a child. Like, I'm not a kid. Um, just knowing so much.
Okay, so
Gosh.
stop. Okay, so we have you in court. We have a brother-in-law. Now, this is after mom passes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after mom dies, he's got you in court with paperwork that is not showing from the county assessor or recorder. It's
His
showing from
attorney.
it's showing from a website he created.
I don't know. That's where
Okay,
all of the
so it's a
register.
foreign website. It's a
Yes.
foreign website of which there is no certification of that document. So the brother-in-law, who is an attorney, is
No,
giving.
brother-in-law's real estate developer,
Oh,
commercial.
real estate. Okay, he's commercial
Yeah.
real estate. He's not an attorney. Okay, so but he's the one presenting this document to the court.
His attorneys are. He didn't have to
His
be in court.
attorneys. So his attorneys, bar card carriers, are presenting documents on a website that is not the court, that is not the county registrar, that has nothing to do with certified documents of record showing, other than showing somewhere on a foreign website that anybody could put anything on, it sounds like, maybe. So when you told this to the court, don't give a long explanation. Did the court recognize that that was not a site that could be verified?
No, he told me to shut up, sit down, and took my home.
Okay, question. The property that was stolen from you, was it near water? Was it near a cell tower? Was it near, what was it near? What was it on?
So it was on the top of a mountain. There was a natural water source and natural land barriers because my dad would only
Okay.
buy property with that.
Okay, so what you are describing is a pattern. This is expensive property, correct? It didn't seem like it, but it has qualities to it that make it special.
Right.
Has anything been done to that property since they took it? What have they done with it?
I don't even know. It's been sold. It looks like it's been it's hard to find the correct information because when I look stuff up, it's different ownership.
Okay,
corporations,
so documents have
all
passed. So what we have here is now your daughter. She was from what you have told me. I have never spoken to your daughter. From what you and I have discussed, your daughter was scared because she felt she was being followed. You had times where you've been pulled into cars. You've had people call you crazy because, you know, you and I have talked when you're going through this, sometimes emotionally, you'll act crazy because you're scared, you're
right.
emotional. Well, your daughter just passed away 2 days ago, and I got to tell you, you're holding it together really well. Again, I'm sorry. Where do you stand now in your life with anything left undone that you're still attempting to get done? Meaning property, meaning these documents. Are you still attempting to get all that reversed?
Oh yes. Oh yes, very much so, because one, fear does not run me anymore, and I'm not going to allow it. And for people to go to this extreme, to me, it's they're more scared of me than I am of them.
And who would these people be? Would this be people being hired to shut you up? Why are they trying to take you and why are they trying to shut you up?
The only thing I can think of would be financial. My dad used to be head of the chemistry department worldwide of GlaxoSmithKline. He drowned January 1st, 2000, 2 weeks after his last patent. And so I know there was money. Um, I don't have any.
Let me
um,
ask you this. Have you ever looked into, or has anyone ever shown you when your father passed, those patents he owned would have ownership passed? Have you ever been
well,
given any?
I've seen where there, because I think they were, since he worked for Glaxo, I believe they were all pretty much owned by the
Okay,
company.
so
But
he was one of the researchers, he was one of the creators of these patents that since he worked for Glasgow, they actually owned the patents. That makes
yeah,
sense.
I
Okay,
believe
so
so.
okay.
There were some,
So
there were there was some he didn't. I think that might have been the synthesizing the effects of eucalyptus or something like that.
okay, but still, think about this. Have you seen anything on the patents he owned outright where they were passed? Who owns those?
No, can't seem to look up anything without
Okay, so
it.
anybody listening, I'm gonna cut to the chase here. This is a girl who I'm already intrigued on the patent stuff because patents rule contract law, everything, right? I wonder if those patents your father had, if anybody out there wants to help, they can reach out to me. I'll get them in touch with you. Maybe we can find out what those patents were, maybe. Um, but Emily, let's go ahead and come to a close right now, just because your story can go on. What you and I talked about today was I posted a Be a Picasso.
Hmm.
Be a Picasso. Because even though now he was a very, very sick man, he created beautiful works of art, but he did some egregious things. Now, we're not saying be a Picasso and doing egregious things. What we're saying is be crazy, but leave a legacy of something that is priceless and other people see value in. That's what Toll and Roll is all about. That's why you're a part of this. You came a part of Toll and Roll because you want to make some changes in your legacy that leave a foundation for your living son to seek remedy and not be afraid of being pulled into cars or being
Right.
threatened. Tell those listening in the Toll and Roll exterior who may think we're the craziest people on earth doing what we're doing. It's never going to work. You're never going to see the finish of this. What you're doing is silly. What do you say to people that say that?
What I say to people is, you cowards, because you know what is self doubt, all that stuff. That is something that is our biggest obstacle. And we can accomplish so much more. These things wouldn't happen to scare us or try to control us. And when we cut those strings, there's nothing we can't do, I don't believe.
Well, I love that. And all of our people, all the people are involved in this. And the people each have a legacy. And right now, our legacy is in question everywhere. There's so much theater going on. So, folks, I hope you've listened to this. I hope you've listened to Emily. Emily, again, our condolences for the loss of your daughter, Grace. Your family has been suffering. You've been at this a long time. You've
Yeah.
attempted to do the right things. You've cried many a times. I've listened to you even in the few months I've known you. Tears, there's nothing wrong with tears. There's
No.
nothing wrong with screaming out, I want justice. So,
Right.
folks, Emily is a member of Toll and Roll. She is us. She is you. She is we. The people are Toll and Roll.
Can
So
I?
go ahead,
Sorry.
finish
I
this
want
off.
to say one more.
I want to just say two things, then I'm going to let you say the last word.
Okay.
I want everyone to go to www.tollandroll.com. Our Facebook link is also on that page. Our email address is tollandroll2025 at gmail.com. The and is spelled out, tollandroll2025 at gmail.com. So, anyone listening, if you have any information and you may want to help Emily,
Please.
send us an email and I will connect you to Emily once I figure out whether you're real or not, because that's part of the game too, is herding the cats, making sure I'm not sending somebody who's going to hurt her. So, Emily, what are your final words for today?
Don't ever let anyone second guess your voice, because I know what it's like to wonder, maybe if I would have just begged one more person, or if I had just told one more person, the right person would have helped. And that's a hard thing to live with. If maybe I just would have said it to one more person. Now I will say whatever I have to say, whenever I have to say it. And if people laugh, so be it. But that is my truth. And I think it's so important to always speak our truth.
Excellent. And you know, the CPS that you said actually stepped up to help. Let's
Yeah.
hear that too, because CPS, we want to abolish CPS, but there are some good workers out there.
In Chapel Hill, North Carolina, I have not run into one CPS worker, and I run into them a lot because when you're in this situation, when you're being pursued and followed on foot, the police don't know how to handle some of this. They don't know what to do, so they also make a CPS report. But we've actually become pretty close. We're actually friends. I actually called one of them up today for support because I was just missing my daughter and trying to figure out what to do. And they are actually trying to come up with the funding to cremate or bury my daughter for me. So, because I'm trying to sell off my own belongings for her service. So,
So
they have
there,
been
so there we go. This is where we say, although we want to abolish the system because it's broken, there are good people still in the system who want to do a job and they know the system's broken too. So
yeah.
let's come together, folks. Thank you, Emily, so much for agreeing to do this today. And again, our condolences for the loss of your daughter, Grace.
Thank you.